is not able to attend. We appreciate Mr. Busby filling in for us today. I know he's
Happy to
excited
be here,
do it.
happy to be here.
All right, do we have, if you had a chance to look at the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do we have a
Second.
second? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, it passed. All righty, I don't see Mr.
He
England.
was here a short time
He
ago.
was standing outside a minute ago. Hey, Norman, is Chris back there?
Oh, Chris? No.
Well,
No, I never seen him.
Well, we started
Chris
early. It's
we
4
can-
o'clock.
yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't been back there. I thought you were talking about cash.
Can we go to the second one and then come back to that?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go to this ordinance amending ordinance 7474. Is, Mr. Smelly. There you are. Yes. All right, would you step up to the podium, please? And I'm going to apologize because I did not know I was gonna lead this meeting until a few minutes ago. Would you explain what we're doing here?
Well, there is a letter, I believe, in your packet that lays it out. But I'll just kind of cover the high points of that and then certainly answer any questions you might have. So, on behalf of North Star EMS, I'm requesting a increase in patient charges. Under the current contract, there's allowance, I think between, well, it's listed in there, 2.5% to capped at 5% for any given year. We do not raise our rates every year. I think the last time we raised them was 2018, and I think this will be the third time we've asked for an increase in 20 years. The reason for this increase is there are what we think are gonna be significant changes in reimbursement. We're currently, and when I say we at this point, this is the Alabama Association of Ambulance Services, are negotiating with Blue Cross for a really significant increase. We have not had one from them since 2019. So we hope that will come to pass this summer, so I'm trying to be proactive and put the rates we need in place now. Currently, so I listed the rates that CMS allows us. Is the first grid on the page, on page 1. We normally charge just 5 to 10% higher than the highest insurance company reimburses. To me, it doesn't make sense to charge a whole lot more than we're gonna get paid. It makes no sense, it doesn't gain us anything. So historically, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama has been the highest payer, and we've been charging slightly above what they pay us. However, at this point, actually, the work comp rates established by the Department of Labor of Alabama are higher than our current charges. And if we get an increase from Blue Cross, we're gonna be woefully low. We're gonna leave a lot of money sitting on the table. There is a move amongst the states. I think 15 states have now passed a law that says EMS can no longer be exempted from the No Surprises Act, which is a bill that Congress passed to eliminate surprises with medical billing. Historically, ambulances have been exempt from that. They're trying to change that, and there's thoughts in Congress that they're gonna do it, but in the interim, about 15 states have already done that. The trade-off for us getting put underneath the No Surprises Act is an increase in private insurance reimbursement. So this is simply my attempt to get ahead of them raising our rates.
Do we, Chief, is this the contract time, or are we in the middle of the contract?
We just renewed the contract, this last year. You're into the 5-year contract.
Okay.
We support this. They've been good. They have not raised their rates, as Tony was saying, since 2018, June of 2018, I believe.
Any other questions?
I have a question. Am I reading this? So in the handout we've got on I think the second page, excuse me, the second page, page 20, there's a box that says number 2, fee adjustments. And it talks about annual rate increases will be the greater of 2.5% of the increase of the CPI. They'll be capped at 5%. That's the provision that's in the contract.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
And then if I go further down, NIMS is requesting the following patient charge increases. Patient charge increase averages 44% across every patient charge category?
Yes, sir.
That's a pretty, that's a huge difference. What's going on?
I apologize that I've been unable to make myself understood.
It's currently at 41%.
I'm sorry?
41% right now.
It's overall, it's about a 44% average. If you look at the individual category, it tells you percent change.
Okay.
But the reason is because we are going from what we charge. Insurance companies don't care what we charge; they pay us their allowable. Right now, for Blue Cross, well, let's do work comp. Right now, for work comp, we charge for a BLS emergency call $600. They pay $624, so they pay more than we charge now.
Okay.
We are leaving money on the table. We are looking
Okay,
at,
so far so good.
we are looking at a Blue Cross increase at a minimum. Currently, we charge $600. We're looking at Blue Cross going to a payment of $807.70 at the lowest.
So you need the cap space in order to calculate a lot of money.
Yeah, so my point is, we're going to be leaving $200 to almost $800 on the table on every call if we don't raise our rates.
Okay.
So I
Because
just,
the insurance companies potentially reimburse more than your actual rates are. Is that
yes,
correct?
sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
What happened?
Now, I'm feeling better.
I'm sorry.
I know there are a couple of concerns. The first one is, what does this mean for patients? I mean, absolutely. So about 66% of our patients have Medicare and Medicaid. And again, it doesn't matter what we charge, it's what they will pay us, what their allowable rate is. The rest of it, we are required to write off. In 2022, I don't have the numbers for 23 yet, we wrote off over $6 million in contractual allowance. For people that have Blue Cross, Aetna, whatever, for most private insurance carriers, we are in network, meaning we accept their allowable rate and we write off the difference. The only patients that this makes a significant difference for are patients who are uninsured, and those are about 10% of our patients. For patients with no insurance, we have we will accept payments. B, we also have a hardship program. If you can show us that you don't have insurance and can prove that you don't have the ability to pay, in 2022 in this Tuscaloosa, we wrote off over $5.4 million. So we are not trying to make these patients pay the difference. We do want them to pay what they can, but we're not going after people who don't have any money to take it from them.
Okay, if you go, now, go ahead. What's your opinion on this?
We're in support of it. As I said, they're doing a good job with what they're providing. They're, haven't raised their rates since 2018. And as Tony said, it's not that they're going after money from the patient. It's money that's being left on the table from the raise of the Blue Cross
Cap
rate.
space.
So OCA, is this doable within the context, Tom?
Chris is.
Oh, Chris.
Chris,
Is this doable within the context of the current contract? Or are we amending the contract or just approving this one increase? What's the mechanics?
If you look on the front page of the paperwork that Tony provided, it lists the fee increase section from the franchise that we negotiated.
Ordinance amending.
So it gives them the ability to request. The chief gives the preliminary approval, but it comes
Okay.
to the council for the final approval. But it's within the percentages, and it also meets all the other requirements.
So now will that follow? Does the chief now request and then the council approves?
Pretty much, yeah. And that's
I'll make a motion.
We have a
Second.
motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. England. This is the Crown Castle Fiber franchise.
Yes, so state law and the Constitution give municipalities the responsibility of managing their right of way. So when someone wants to put any sort of infrastructure in our right of way, we have to give them a franchise agreement, which is basically our permission for them to use our right of way. So what you see in front of you is a franchise agreement for Crown Castle. basically to put infrastructure, fiber in our right of way. And the franchise agreement you see sets out what's allowable by federal law for us to charge in terms of fees. And it also has some other quality control measures for the city. Just as an example, we just recently redid our street cut permits because we've had for years we've had issues with people coming, cutting streets, and then leaving a mess behind. So we've incorporated into this franchise agreement the new ordinances that we've recently passed, requiring things you have to do before you before you can cut a street. We've also subjected them to other one of our ordinances regarding small cell and so forth. So I think we have two representatives from Crown Castle here for any questions about what their plans. But specifically though, as city law requires, they have to get permits.
Sure.
Have to submit plans to us, help identify our infrastructure, make sure they're not cutting our water lines and so forth. So again, just another provider in the city once if this franchise agreement is authorized.
Okay. Are you going throughout the city with this, or in one particular part, or where are you going?
We will go as needed. So right now, we have contracts that are in place, that we do have a vendor that is wanting to do a particular area within the city.
Is this cable, is this,
What's the service?
internet, or-
It is not. It is truly fiber optic cable, or fiber optic in the ground for small cells.
For what?
Small cells. Small cells are they're smaller than, you normally see the towers that have existing. They tie back to that tower so that we can actually take care of customers that are locally within the area that may not get as great a reception or may not be able to reach them and go back to that area. So we usually use it, if you notice, a lot of times if you're getting call drops within the city or if there's a lot of traffic, then sometimes they may implement some small cells.
Will, say if you went to my neighborhood, would you have to go through my whole neighborhood, or will you go, how do you get to a house?
It's actually done, there is a method to the madness. They actually do a study, and we have what's called RF engineering. The radio frequencies are tied back into the small cell area, and they actually do a study to determine, do you really need an antenna, or how much coverage do you need? How much volume is actually being supplied in that area? So.
I had to drop out yesterday talking to Cassius, but I think he actually really hung up on. I can't hear you.
That happened too, that is a result of a small cell, but those do happen as
You
well.
won't be able to say that anymore.
No, sir,
We
you
can't
can't,
hear you.
yeah, you can't do it anymore.
We have, and I say that about the neighborhoods, and I expect y'all to do a good job, don't misunderstand.
Sure.
But I get a lot of phone calls, and I know we all do, not just about painting the utility lines above ground in the streets and all that, but it's the lack of, people in the neighborhood don't know what's going on, or they're not told what's going on, and that sort of thing, and I see Mr. England stand up.
Yeah.
Right.
Spire, AT&T, Comcast,
Yes,
over the last few years, we've had a number of issues. So we also added, in talking with Mike, some other additional requirements. So if you look at installation of facility section 4, prior to beginning any construction, Crown Castle Fiber shall notify the property owners of the start date of the construction, the scope of the project, and the estimated duration of the work. Additionally, at all times during construction, Crown Castle Fiber shall provide property owners with a point of contact in the event issues arise during construction that need immediate attention. Crown Castle shall provide each property owner with the name, telephone number, and email address of a point of contact at least 48 hours prior to beginning work in the vicinity of the property owner.
And we stand by that. We've been doing this a long time, and we really do stand by that, because a lot of times homeowners don't have a clue of what's going on in their neighborhood, who's digging up the ground, who's putting in, and a lot of times homeowners think that their property line literally goes to the edge of the street, and they don't understand the right of way. So a lot of times we have to educate them to say, no, this is public right of way. This is a part of the area that we can install in. and we're doing it with this. And Mike is my construction manager. Mike literally lives here in Alabama. He's feet on the ground. If there's ever anything that's going on with our contractors, personally, he literally ties back into that contractor to say, hey, we have an issue. We have a 24/7 network operations center that is also available to anybody that has any kind of outstanding issue. If there's ever any type of concrete work that's done and we're out there and say that we don't repair to the standard in which the city or the jurisdiction is accustomed to, we'll get somebody back out there to take care of it.
And also, we went back and forth, and all the terms of this have been negotiated between the city and the Crown Castle. Another part of this is the Crown Castle shall contact affected property owners to discuss any repairs, dress up or clean up of such owner's property necessitated by the installation of Crown Castle fiber optic cable. They shall perform any necessary repair, dress up or clean up to reasonably restore such affected property to the same or better condition prior to any damage caused to such property at Crown Castle's sole expense. Repair should be done within 5 business days unless extraordinary circumstances cause it.
Absolutely, and we stand by it. I mean, we've been doing this a long time, and we've got over 80,000 miles of fiber in the ground. So we're very well known in the industry. There was something else that you mentioned that really stands out to me, and I was thinking about the city of, I don't know if you guys know, I'm not from here, so I don't know where Vestavia Hills, but it's an area that really prides themselves on how their streets look and how everything is maintained. And that was one of the first areas that I got a chance to install, and it went extremely well. We literally worked with the mayor on certain times that they wanted us to install, and the construction team was very present. And a lot of times that's what happens is that with other companies, and especially with carriers sometimes, they just don't have the manpower to be present, and you need to be present.
We've had a really bad year.
Yeah.
In the city of Tuscaloosa,
Yeah.
one particular company, and it has just put such a bad taste in me.
I understand. I understand.
I'll make a motion. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's great to know.
Second.
Sure. You guys have any construction questions? Mike is here also to answer those as well.
I just
I think y'all went over
He's a
everything.
construction guy, so he can answer those.
Okay.
Yeah,
We have a
yeah.
motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that passes.
Take the double.
That's all we have today. Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys.